So in this week's episode, I'm going to be showing you some of my most used essential hiking and wild camping bits of gear. And the best thing about these items, they all cost less than £10. Yes people, welcome back to the channel. So, who doesn't love a bargain, eh? So these items, I found them all for less than £10. The majority of these I literally take with me on every single camping trip. Now the first item, what a way to start, is a trowel. We all need to take one on every single trip really. It's better to take it and not need it than need it and not take it. So we don't need to go into too much detail. Dig a hole, away from any paths, away from any streams, do your business, fill the hole in, say no more. Now another item that I always take, well it's actually two items, but you can buy the pair for less than a tenner, are thermometers. And I think they're actually for like fish tanks. It says aquarium on it. So the good thing about these is when you have two, is you can have this end outside the tent, getting your temperature outside, and then keep this one inside. So then you can get a comparison to see the difference between obviously the cold weather outside and the heat that you've generated inside the tent. So I think on my last trip in the solo, got down to lowest about -3-ish outside. But it was like 2 degrees inside, so still cold inside, but that 5 degrees makes a hell of a difference. Right, so I'm going to need a few items for this next one. Right, so in front of me, 3 gas canisters. Ideally, if I'm going for a weekend trip, I only need to take this. So I only want to be carrying the weight of this. I don't need to be carrying this big boy around with me. However, these in this size are pretty expensive per 100 gram. Compared to this one. I actually bought these in bulk, so I must have bought like 12 cans of these. It'll last me bloody years, I'm telling you. So I use these to fill these. And what you're going to need to buy is this little beauty. So it's a little gas canister adapter. Like with everything that I've shown so far, all links will be in the description for you to check out. I think this I got it from Amazon. So what you got to do with this one is, this is your empty can. A good little top tip is to bung this in freezer for about 5 minutes just to make it colder than this can. Then all you do is, it's got an out and an in on the adapter. Now be careful because there is some cheaper ones, and I did have one before but it did let me down. It don't look like this, it's a bit more basic, but this is the one to go for. So you put that on the in, screw that on. Put that on your big canister and then turn it on. And now the gas is going from this one to this one. Now the way to measure this properly, I've got some scales somewhere. When I bought this, I weighed it, and full with all the gas plus the canister itself, it weighed 195 grams. And I wrote that on the bottom of it. So if I weigh that now, it weighs 115 grams. Put it on for 45 seconds to a minute and then see how much it fills up. Weigh it again and get it as close to 195 as possible. You don't want to be overfilling it. A couple of grams you'll be absolutely fine, not going to do no danger there. But yeah, make sure you don't overfill it and get it as close to 195 as you can. Now I've done the same with this one. This one is 386 grams. So under here it's just a standard Jetboil canister. I think it's a 230 gram mixture inside. Now the reason why I'm taking this is I'm going camping with a few of my mates this weekend, so there's going to be 3 of us. I'm not sure if they've got any gas, so I'm going to bring this just so we've got plenty. We know we're not going to run out. This would have done us fine, but peace of mind and all that. So that there now weighs 371. So 386, 371. I don't need to fill that up, that's absolutely fine. So that's your 230 gas, that's your 100 gram gas, and then this is your, I think it's 500. So you might pay, these are going to be random, you might pay a £5 for that for 100 gram, but you might only pay 15 for 500 gram. So do the maths yourself. You're getting a lot more value by buying the bigger ones, using the adapter, and fill in the smaller ones. Happy days. In fact, while we're on the conversation of gas, I do get a lot of people asking about this. It wasn't originally on the list, but I might as well add it because it cost me less than a tenner. So all it is just a gas cosy. You don't need it through summer unless you're wanting to protect the canister itself, but through winter it just helps it not to freeze over as much, and it looks cool as well on pictures and on videos. Yeah, a few people have asked me, so same again, I'll whack a link for this in the description from Amazon. Right, so while we're talking about gas, obviously you need that to cook, so that brings me on to this beast. If you're into your dehydrated meals, then these are ideal. A long-handled titanium spork. Plenty of brands that all do these same products. Husbeen. I don't know what that says because it's all scratched off, but it's a titanium spork, mate, so it does what it says on the tin really, doesn't it? And then you've got your big packets like this, and you want to get down into the corners and you don't want to get all your fingers all dirty, covered in bloody chicken fajita juice and that. These are perfect. Now, for the majority of my trips, carrying a big 2 litre bottle is a thing of the past. That's what I used to do. I used to bring a 2 litre bottle, shove it in my bag. We're a pain in the arse having to open my bag up just to get a little drink, or put it inside pocket where you're like, ugh, do you know what I mean? Now I've got the front pocket on my Berghaus bag, on the straps. They are actually part of the bag. I know people ask me what are the bottle holders on your backpack. They are part of the rucksack itself. So I now use, on every single trip, some ultralight sports bottles. So these are just mountain bike bottles for you, obviously for your bike to whack in. Now these are called Fly Elite bottles. Really light, ultralight. I've dropped them a fair few times. They're all scratched and battered, but same again. They're less than a tenner. I don't think they're less than a tenner as a pair though. So one of them's less than a tenner, so it still counts. And last but not least, an item that I take on every single trip, and I do advise you to get one. If you're not going to buy like a Thermometers ridge rest or a closed cell foam pad, I advise getting one of these. No matter how good your air mat is, if it were to fail, it's always good to have a bit of a backup. So although it's not going to keep you comfy if your air mat was to fail, it will keep you warm. Now these are less than a tenner. They weigh about 65 grams. So I'd be a fool not to take it. See, I use a Thermometers Neoair X Lite, which it's got an R value of 4.2, so it'll see you through most winters. But on the really cold days, I take this anyway on every trip, but it doesn't help to have an extra layer like this to pair it up with that. And not only will it give you more warmth, but it'll also protect the bottom of your mat. If something was to come through your tent, poke through, say if you didn't use a ground sheet and just went through, it's an extra layer then to stop your Thermometers from getting popped. Because let's be honest, your Thermometers are 200 and odd notes. This is less than a tenner. I'd rather this get ripped than that get popped. And one of the first things I do when I get to camp as well, when I put my tent up, if it's cold, I lay this out at the bottom of the tent straight away, even if I'm not going to blow my air mat up. So then when I'm just in the tent, getting changed, sat down, chilling out, whatever, it just takes that initial chill away from the ground. Because as you'll know, the ground is where you lose most of your heat. You're best off having a decent mat and a lower quality sleeping bag than the other way around. Trust me. I know you might be thinking there's plenty more items out there for less than a tenner that you can bring while camping, and if you've got any of them suggestions, make sure you smash them in comments for me. However, I have also got another video coming with essential wild camping items for less than £5. We all love a good bargain round here. So then, that just about wraps it up. I hope there's been a couple items on this list that you might consider buying. I'll smash all the links in the description for you so you can check them out. Less than £10. Bargains to be had. Right people, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. It helps so much with that YouTube algorithm. Drop a comment, let me know of any bargains you've picked up recently, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. In fact, the next one, if you're watching this in real time on a Monday, next Monday, I've got a 50-mile hike video coming where I've done 2 nights wild camping, 50 miles. It's a good one. Make sure you check it out. Peace out. In a bit.